how briefly, how simply, so easy to understand, the surest way of liberation. Anger, etc., forgiveness, etc. So evident, everybody's experience. By cultivating forgiveness, etc., this way lies freedom. Simple. You asked the path of liberation, the path of freedom. This way lies freedom, or this is the surest way of liberation. Substitute anger by forgiveness, etc. So I've taken several sessions in India, abroad. मनने स्थिर केम करूं, पत्रांग 925. मनने स्थिर करवा संबंधीनो पत्र छे. If you recollect, I had given you 5 ways. And you can take it in terms of anger, say, because the subject here is anger, etc. So say anger. ત્યાં તો general બોલ્યો તો મનને સ્થિર કેમ કરવું from negative thoughts, but here the context is anger. Number 1, I say, years back, I don't even recollect when. Substitute the wrong feelings by the right feelings. So here it is anger, so substitute by forgiveness. Second, cause. Ponder over the right cause, the principal cause, the primary cause. And as I said yesterday, your bit of contribution. Bit I'm saying because we always find it was little bit that I was wrong. So your contribution, how were you instrumental? I said it yesterday. But find out that cause, because you only focus on the secondary cause. What was that person's contribution to the mess? That's why anger rises. Once you find out your contribution, what rises? બીજું આ નહીં કરું. Forgiveness નહીં. બીજું આ નહીં કરું. And everything is fine. If you find that person did the whole thing, he contributed to the mess, anger arises. So if you ponder over the right cause, the principal cause, the primary reason, cause, anger will start subsiding. And then you will have કે હવે થોડો મારો બી વાંક હતો અને થોડો આનો બી વાંક હતો. So I forgive you, because otherwise I can't forgive myself then. See, when you don't find you are at fault, you don't want to forgive others. But હવે તને નરક મોકલું તો મારે પણ નરકે જવું પડે તો તને માફ કરી દઉં છું. You understand, the feeling of forgiveness is so effortlessly it will come in you if you find out the real cause. So first, substitute. Second, cause. Third, consequences. So I said, no, karma બંધ થશે, relationships જરા strain થઈ જશે, and so many consequences. If you feel કે અમને આ કરવાની કંઈ જરૂર નથી, because એનું જે નુકસાન થશે is it's too much, pretty much. So એના કરતાં શાંત રહીએ તો સારું, ગમ ખાઈ લઈએ તો સારું, કારણ કે નુકસાન વધારે છે. Whatever, worldly or spiritually. જોબ ચાલી જશે તો બોસને કહેવાય, બોસ કાંઈ કરે અને એ સાવ જુઠ્ઠી વાત હોય તો બી એમ કહેવાય કે નો, you're lying, sir. એમ કહેવાય. તમે તો કે ચૂપ રહો, કારણ કે જે નુકસાન છે ને, વેન્ટિંગ આઉટ યોર એંગર કરતા જે નુકસાન છે ઇઝ pretty much. See, you being impulsive in a situation which was not expected, I can understand it. It is purva sanskar, your past instincts. Okay, you get impulsive. But remember one thing, your behavior should not change. Your words should not change. Your feelings changed and you became impulsive because something didn't happen according to your expectation. So this is your past instinct. But if you resolve how much ever my feelings change, how much ever my thoughts change, but my behavior will remain same. Meaning I will not react. Internally, because past instincts, haji khabar pade eની પહેલા you have become impulsive. Correct? But in reaction, in responding to it, meaning your behavior, I will see to it that it doesn't change, so that there is space for these impure feelings to subside. So when Gurdjieff's father died, I've said it several times, last advice you want to give me? Gurdjieff asks. He says, whenever you want to react, resolve that you will react after 24 hours. I am not telling you to not react. Fine? So, આજે જે તમને કહેવું છે, exactly at 8:35 tomorrow. By that time, you might find it not important. By that time, you might feel even you are responsible for, somewhere responsible for this whole thing. So, reaction. So, that's what I said. Take charge of yourself. Take charge of your feelings. Say, I'm not going to change my words. I'm not going to change the way I was behaving till now. That is going to be same. And then substitute, cause, consequences. Sometimes you just need to distance yourself from that nimit. Either you send that person away or you go away from that place. For some time, if you give that space, you won't become so impulsive that you react in a very weird manner. તો ચૂલા ઉપર તપેલી છે, કાં તો તપેલી લઈ લો, કાં તો ચૂલો લઈ લો. યુ નો વોટ્સ ચૂલો, રાઈટ? સ્ટવ. ગેસ તો ન કહેવાય, શું કહેવાય? સ્ટવ જ કહેવાય ને. તો સ્ટવ ઉપર વેસલમાં સમથિંગ ઇઝ બોઇલિંગ, and if you want to stop that boiling, what can you do? Either switch off or take that vessel away from there. So it won't boil further. It will cool down. થોડો ટાઈમ ખાલી એક સીજીમાં ચક્કર મારવા નીકળી જાઓ, બસ. કે 3 ચક્કર મારીને પછી I will react. 3 ચક્કરમાં that fresh air, healthy body, healthy mind, everything will be fine. So sometimes the solution is so simple. You just need to go a little far from your nimit. થોડા દૂર જવું આપણે. So substitute, cause, I have to start the new topic, but it's revising. So substitute, cause, consequences, nimit, distancing, social. I'm talking about spiritual distancing, of course. If you can do the whole process mentally, that is the best, without changing anything outside. But if you can't change outside, but don't be so impulsive and react. Okay, so that's simple. And last, I used to say, dominate. Dominate meaning that you detect the feeling of anger, go directly into the witnessing mode if you can. Don't analyze anything, cause or consequences. If you have this capacity, this is the best. Don't go into the thinking mode only. Just go into the witnessing mode directly. હું સાક્ષી માત્ર છું. I'm just a witness. Usually in times of anger, we don't have the capacity to go. So I'm putting you into the thinking mode. And if you have to think about the causes and consequences. If you have to do, not only thinking, doing mode, then substitute. So I started from the easy, doing mode, then substitute, or go far from that nimit. Those two are for the doing mode. Two are for the thinking mode. Think about the causes, think about the consequences. And if you have the capacity to directly switch to the witnessing mode, best. So I'd given one agna to the president of USA, meaning Srimad Rajchandra Mission president. Srimad Rajchandra Mission Dharampur, USA president. I don't know. I had commanded him actually to call his wife Pareshan. I hope he's following the agnas sincerely. Pareshan, instead of Paresha, call her Pareshan. And how has she to take this positively? Shan se, with pride, Shan se pare ho. Just go into the witnessing mode. Just go beyond all this. Don't take anything personally. If he says, I love you, don't take it personally. He's like, I hate you, don't take it personally. Just don't let your ego sideline karo ego ne. Ego ne આટલો એક્ટિવ નહીં રાખો. ક્યારેક અટેચમેન્ટમાં લઈ જશે, ક્યારેક એવર્ઝનમાં લઈ જશે. So I hope he is following the agna. It will be half of ક્યારેક. I understand. વર્ષોની હેબિટ છે, કેટલા વર્ષ થયા છે બિચારા નહીં મીન્સ કેટલા વર્ષ થયા છે લગ્ન. તો એટલા વર્ષની હેબિટ છે, થોડો ટાઈમ તો આપવું જોઈએ. સો બટ તમે અટેચમેન્ટમાંથી બચશો ને એ એવર્ઝનમાંથી બચશે, બંને બચશો. પરેશાન કોઈને બોલાવો પછી અટેચમેન્ટ કેવી રીતે થાય? એટલે એ અટેચમેન્ટમાંથી બચશે ને યુ વિલ સે કે આઈ હેવ ટુ સ્ટે પરે. કારણ કે આ બધા ફ્લક્ચ્યુએટિંગ મૂડ્સમાં ક્યારેક પ્યારી લાગે ને ક્યારેક મારામારી કરે ને આ બધામાં કાંઈ સત્ય નથી. સત્ય એ જ છે, હી ઇઝ અ પ્યોર સોલ એન્ડ ઇવન આઈ એમ અ પ્યોર સોલ. That is the only truth. So if you hold on to the supreme truths, your state will change in such a way you will see yourself getting liberated. You don't have to have faith in this. You will experience liberated. So how beautifully it was said, explained in that, stated in that verse 104. So brief, so simple, only one line. Ema show Sunday. What doubt? How can you even doubt that there is no means of liberation when you have been experiencing short time liberation? Short time. એક દિવસ પૂરતું જ રહે. So beautifully. So the first argument, there is no means of liberation, or there seems no undisputed absolute means of liberation which can be universally be accepted or approved. So that was the argument, and it has been resolved from verse 98 to 104. Very clear? So how beautifully, how clearly you can see the fluidity and how જેટલા પ્રેઝ કરો એટલું ઓછું. So now let's go to the second argument. So that's it. So that was verse 92, answered 98 to 104. First line 4 verses, second line 3 verses, 7 verses, and that argument has been resolved. That crisis has been solved. Now in verse 93, the second one, the disciple had said that there are many sects and schools of thought, meaning philosophy. So many religions and many philosophies. Religions mostly show you what to do, And philosophy shows you why to do, what to do. Because religion means do's and don'ts, right? So, Western world does not like to be considered as religious. They like the word spiritual. Because એમાં કશું કરવાનું નહીં હોય. Just be a nice person. આમાં do બહુ હોય. એટલે અહીંયા બધું જ મૂકી દીધું, religion and philosophy, both. So the disciples said that there are many sects and schools of thought prevalent in the world, which expounds different paths to attain liberation. And it is not possible to determine which of those is correct. That was the query. Having studied the beliefs of various religions and philosophies, the disciple is confused. See, I've kept that in the second point, not in the first point. Because many show many paths, that is no reason for confusion. But the disciple here is confused. Just because there is diversity, I was telling Apurvaji in the afternoon, diversity, as Jawaharlal Nehru used to say, unity in that diversity. So I said, what's wrong if there is variety and diversity? Variety is the spice of life. It's a feeling of a carnival. Carnival, छोड़ो, fun fair રાખો. આમ ફન ફેરમાં જઈએ તો જુદી જુદી ગેમ્સ હોય, જુદું જુદું ખાવાનું હોય, અહીંયા સેવપુરી હોય, પેલું મેક્સિકન પેલું હોય જુદું. So what's, just because they show different paths does not mean that one has to be confused. I'm understanding that they are expounding different ways, but I'm not confused because of my Sadguru. I'm not confused. So just because it is many does not mean you have to be confused. But here the Shishya is confused. You are understanding? Because after the doubt is resolved, still there will be many paths, but he won't be confused after Sadguru's solution. Sadguru is not going to say, no, everyone is speaking about one path only. It will remain the same, but his confusion will be destroyed. So it's very beautifully placed. So I made a second point here. Okay, having studied, even I have studied different philosophies, not all, but many. દરરોજ 3 થી 6 ચેતના બુક સ્ટોરમાં જતો હતો, opposite the University of Bombay. So I used to go there because they had wonderful books of J. Krishnamurti and Osho and બધા wonderful. અને મને ફ્રીમાં ત્યાં વાંચવા દેતા હતા. It was not a library, it was a bookstore. And he had some soft corner for me, the owner of Chetna, whatever bookstore. So he said, તમને જ્યારે આવવું હોય ત્યારે આવો, બધી બુક્સ 3,000 રૂપિયાની 4,000 રૂપિયાની બુક્સ હોય, આપણે અફોર્ડ ન કરી શકીએ. એટલે હું દરરોજ ત્યાં જાઉં, વાંચું, થેન્ક યુ કહું, વેલકમ સાંભળું, નીકળી જાઉં. એ તો 10-11 મહિના ચાલ્યું. Different, but I was not confused. I could see some unity in that diversity. How they all lead to that absolute, undisputed path which was shown in from verse 98 to 104 in different words. Words were different. Some were calling it bread, some were calling it rotli, some were calling it bhakri, some were calling it puri. Puri, when did I have last? I don't know. So different forms, of wheat. But so I said, હોવું જોઈએ કે ના હોવું જોઈએ different? કે દરરોજ એક જ ચીજ ખાવાનું. Carnival effect. So it's nice sometimes to hear the same thing. Sakshi bhavne badle, if I say choiceless, effortless awareness, you say, Baba, wonderful, you feel like writing it down. If I say, be in a witnessing mode, to kya to khabar che? So this is how J. Krishnamurti showed. पसंदगी रहित, प्रयत्न रहित जागृति. Choice, less effort, less awareness. Suddenly you feel, oh, so beautifully explained. But he's talking of the same thing. So you can see diversity if you want, you can see unity if you want. This fellow could not, the disciple. So intelligent, so worthy, but you need the main ingredient, Sadguru. For a doubtless conviction, you need a Sadguru. So somewhere he missed out something, and so he was getting confused in diversity. Are you clear? Because the solution is very easy. The problem should be clear to you. He could not see the unity in diversity. So he said, my whole life will just go in selecting which is the right path. And how do I select? I need to try. And trying one path will take a whole lifetime. So I will never attain not liberation. I will never attain the path of liberation. Forget liberation. But even the path of liberation I will not be able to decide. But he has Sadguru in life, so he does not need to waste time. So having studied the beliefs of various religions and philosophies, the disciple is confused. Putting an end to his confusion, the Guru answers.
छोड़ी मत दर्शन तणो आग्रह तेम विकल्प कह्यो मार्ग आसाध शे जन्म ते हना अल्प.
Chodi, everyone knows chodu, chodi, give up. I'm not using high words, renounce, and just give up. Mat darshan tano. So these two words had come even in the Shankar. Mat and darshan. So mat you can say opinion or your beliefs. And darshan means schools of thought or say different philosophies. Mat and darshan. What have you to leave about this religion and philosophy? Insistence, agra. Two things you have to leave. Agra, tema, vikalp. Two things. Agra, vikalp. Say, agra and vikalp you need to give up. If you want to progress on the path of spirituality, you have to give up two things. Agra, vikalp. So what is agraha? Insistence of your opinions. Your opinions are so strong. Atrayagra. You understand? So insistence of your opinions. Say. Mat darshan, keep it as opinions or views. So what is this? Agra means insistence and vikalp means option or choices. My choice of viewpoint is the only right one. Means if I am saying from Vyavhar Drashti, then I will not just like considering I am a pure soul. And if I am a Nishchayvadi, then I would not like, doing practices like austerities and devotion and everything. So my viewpoint is my choice, but that does not mean that is the only thing. But so two things he's saying, agra and vikalp. Agra means insistence, strong, very strong opinions, and here vikalp means choice. Your choices of viewpoints are the only thing worth adopting. Bas. Chodi ne, if you leave, if you give up, insistent and choices of your opinions and viewpoints regarding religion, philosophy, whatever. And kayo marg, Bhagwan ne je kayo in from verse 98 to 104, je marg hi kayo means the path of liberation indicated by the Sadguru here. If you are sadhashe, if you follow it, janmatehana alp. This is not what he wants to say actually. He wants to say, Prabhu wants to say, if you do this, you'll be liberated in this very birth. But if at all you have to take some birth, very few births you will need to take to attain liberation. Condition 2, you have to give up your insistence and your choices. Even in worldly pursuit, if you have strong opinions and prejudices, then there will be a clash everywhere. Business હોય તો business, family હોય તો family. આમ જ થવું જોઈએ. આ આંગળી પહેલા નીચે નાખ. If you want to go to moksha. See, even in the relationships, we find that જે બહુ આગ્રહી હોય would not want to even listen to that person's point of view. If you are too agrahi jeev. So even in small things, even in cooking, even in business, so this is path of liberation. Everywhere, if you have this strong opinions, some set behavior, stubborn attitudes, prejudices, you can't even begin on the path of liberation. To the extent Param Krupadev is saying કે જૈનથી મોક્ષ થાય એવો આગ્રહ પણ છૂટી ગયો છે. He is a Jain. He feels he had adopted Jainism because he found it perfect. It was his choice, not because it was a family dharma. He could have opted for something else also. So he accepted it, he adopted it. He was following Jainism and still he's writing, Jainti moksha થાય એવો આગ્રહપના આત્માએ ક્યારનો છોડી દીધો છે. Because his focus was on the absolute path of liberation, Paramarth Moksha Marg, and not on the means or method or relative path of liberation, meaning Vyavhar Moksha Marg. His focus was not on the external methodology. His focus was on that absolute path of liberation, which was expounded in the verses. Say 100 and 101. એટલું જ revise કરી દઈએ. 100. Raga, Dvesha, Agnane. I am asking you to explain, but you want to quote Atma Siddhi because now it's etched in your heart, right? So, Rag, Dvesha, Agnan, Java, Joye. I don't want to know whether you are Jain, you are Christian, or you are Vaishnava, or what you are doing. You are on the path of devotion, or path of meditation, or path of... I just don't want to know anything. Tell me what is the state of your Rag. It's reducing, decreasing. What is the state of your dvesh, your ignorance, awareness? Don't take it only as knowledge. Take it as awareness of the truths. Whatever truth you have accepted, any awareness taken, you believe in Hari, God as the creator, you believe in God's will, you want to believe thy will be done and not mine. Okay. Awareness કેટલી છે આની? Give me that. You're understanding? So, Prabhu's focus was on the absolute path of liberation, not the relative. On the Paramarth Moksha Marg, not on the Vyavhar Moksha Marg. So, there are differences in the external methods, practices, rituals. But he said, so what? I take it as variety is the spice of life. I'm not getting confused. This should happen. Simple English. How you manage. You choose. Now, just see the ignorance. Basically, there are different faiths, meaning different religions. Then there are sects in one religion only. Then there are subsects. In Gujarati, the Kram is like this. First, dharma, religion. So say Jainism, Buddhism, Sikhism, etc. So pick up one, Jainism. Then there are sect, Sampradaya. Shwetambar Sampradaya, Digambar Sampradaya. Then there are sub-sect. Pick up Shwetambar. So there are sub-sect. Sthanakvasi, Deravasi. Then there are Gach in one sub-sect also. So take Deravasi. Pick up Deravas. You will have Tapagach, Khartar Gach, Achal Gach. This body was born in Tapagach, Shwetambar, Jain Dharma. Sorry, one thing I missed. Tapagach, Deravasi, Shwetambar, Jain. This is not enough. Then there are samudais. So Jain, no, I want to confuse you. I want you to understand the Shishya. So ek to kitla bada dharma, saying different things. Their ethics are different, their metaphysics are different. In one, pick up one, there are two sects again. So if you pick up Jainism, then there is Shwetambar, Digambar. Now pick up Shwetambar, again you will have two. Derasarma Manu, Derasarma Namanu. Sanakwasi, Deravasi. Now pick up one from there. Deravasi. Why Deravasi? Khabar chetle, okay. So pick up Deravasi. So you are getting so many Gach. Tapagach, Khartar-Gach, Achal-Gach, etc. So now pick up Tapagach. So there are 20 groups in Tapagach. Samudais it is called. Bhuvan Bhanu Surino Samudai. Acharya Sri Ramchandra Surino Samudai. Ano Samudai. I'm not saying anybody is wrong or right, good or bad. I am saying how do I select? So there were 19 and last year 20th Gach, 20th Samudai in Tapagach, in Deravasi, Shwetambar, Jain. No, aji baki chhe. Then in one Samudai also there are many acharyas. So you have a preference, choice, vikalp. Okay. They belong to one samudaya only, but Manachan, I like to communicate with Apurvaji. I like to communicate with Nemiji. I think I'm more comfortable with Nemiji. Or I want to communicate with Vishal Nonji. Vishal. So you have your preferences, you have your choices. And Bhagwan ne kidu insistence bhi heran karse and choices bhi heran karse. Because all this will lead to attachment and aversion. So if I'm comfortable with Nemiji, I'm not going to be comfortable with Maulikji because they are very different. So if my choices is to if I'm comfortable with Maulikji, so I'm not comfortable with Nemiji. I'm just giving you, it's a simple example. Okay, then there is choice of person again. So let's start all over again. Dharma. So we are taking Jainism. Then sect, so say Shwetambar. Then subsect, Deravasi. Then Gach, Gach, Tapagach. Ema Samudai, so say some Samudai. So this was the first time I think Maulikji and Apurvaji, they had to go for the Vinanti for Pratishtha and Acharya Bhagwan. First time they came to know that Baba 20 mati ave kya select karwana. Tappa Gach ni andar 20 samudai che, they didn't even know till January last. I'm saying what's wrong? Tari aradhna ja thati hoy to karne. So just because there are different ways, amake about differences, I'm just giving you namesake. Then again there will be a choice of person. Everyone is right. But any impact mara upar vadare the. To karne ટપાવો દેવડે કાંઈ વાંધો નથી. રાગ દ્વેષને અજ્ઞાન જવું જોઈએ. નંબર 1, verse 100. You show me the result. Or Atma, which is Sat Chaitanyamaya and Sarvabhas, you should be awakened to it and abide in it. So if this is happening, whichever path you have, whichever means, the relative path you have chosen, fine. See, basically you have to be a lover of truth. You cannot just stay in the narrow limits of your sect. You have to give up, because being sectarian, you will be trapped in attachment and aversions. If I have attachment for him, I will have aversion for this. Like, let's take Svetambar Sampradaya only. Sect, not subsect. Now I'm going to the subsect. Svetambar Sampradaya, you will have Stanakwasi, Deravasi, major. And then the Digambar Sampradaya. So now, talk of Samaik. You know what is Samaik? So if you ask a Stanakwasi, what is a Samaik? तो कि जे हमें कोविड में करिए ते mask. You have to wear mupatti for 48 minutes, sit in one place. That is Samaik. If you ask a Deravasi, what is Samaik? So okay, whenever you take Samaik, then you have to have a mupatti in your hand, and whenever you talk, you have to bring it here. આવું તમારે આ exercise 48 minutes સુધી કરવાની. That is Samaik. You ask a Digambar, even they believe in Samaik. So okay, what do you do in Samaik? So okay, no, we should not keep any mupatti, and all this is parigrah. When I have not worn anything on my body, you want an handkerchief in the hand? પછી એના વિકલ્પો થાય, એને ધોવાનું, એને ક્લીન રાખવાની, આનું આ કરવાનું. This hinsa is an inevitable hinsa, and you better focus on the absolute path. So now how do I do Samaik? Tell me. Some say you have to wear it, you can't hold it. Because પછી છે ને you hold like this and talk like this. So no purpose of mupatti is solved. It's better you wear it and tie it on your ears. Exactly how you are doing right now. તમે બધાને માસ્ક હાથમાં આપ્યું હોત તો. So time. So Sthanakvasi also, it seems right. પણ મરી જશો ને આવું 24 કલાક કરવાનું હોય તો કે ના સાલું દેરાવાસીનું વધારે પ્રેક્ટિકલ છે. ત્યારે બોલવાનું હોય ત્યારે માસ્ક રાખવાનું ને તો છોડી દેવાનું. સૌથી બેસ્ટ તો દિગંબરનું જ છે કે આ બધી ખટપટ જ નહીં માસ્કની. પછી ફેશન સ્ટાર્ટ થાય. તમે જુઓ, જેવો ડ્રેસ પહેરે ને લોકો એવા કલરનું માસ્ક પહેરે છે. બ્લેક માસ્ક આવ્યા છે, યેલો માસ્ક આવ્યા છે, પેલા માસ્ક આવ્યા, ડિઝાઇનવાળા માસ્ક આવ્યા છે. હોલી આવે તો હોલીના માસ્ક આવશે, દિવાળી આવે તો દિવાળીના માસ્ક આવશે. So all khatpat we don't want. So Digambar says you better do Samaik. What is Samaik? Some equipment, some method, some ritual. So yeah, it is. Every sect has a ritual. You have to wear it, you have to put it in, keep it in your hand, whatever. But don't focus on this. Samaik is not just a method. You cannot say it's just something to do with some equipment, special equipments called katasnu. You have to put that cloth on the ground and then sit on it. You just can't sit on the ground. Otherwise, it's not a Samaik. Mupatti, charavlo, vagere, whatever. So it is not just a set of equipments and some rituals. What is it? It is practicing to develop a state of equanimity. So an enlightened master would say, however you can manage that, you decide, give me equanimity. Simple. If you are born in a Sthanakvasi family, wear it on your ears. If you are born in the Deravasi family, like since 3 years of age, I have been doing Samaik. So I was taught this way. And પછી એની પડી લેના કરવાની ને બધી પેલું આમ કરીને કરવાનું. If you have tied it, તો આવે જ નહીં બધું. So we have learned it that way. So Kripadev says, I'm not telling you to change your sect. I'm not even telling you to change your dharma. Samayik means a state of equanimity for 48 minutes. Give me that. Manage the external yourself. Don't even ask me. I'm so simple. Huh? It sounds so simple, but the ignorant soul, he sometimes loses that sight on that absolute, or in your language, simple, spiritual aspect. He goes on that religious aspect and the external, and he forgets that internal. So when he loses that, what happens? He starts insisting on the external method, ritual, equipment. સમજાય છે why the confusion and how the guru is solving the confusion. હજી તો હું confusion બતાવું છું, હજી solving is left. So every religion, sect, subsect advocates some path, some external norms, disciplines, rituals to attain liberation. And that's fine. You have a body which is external, so you will need to keep that body also occupied. So external disciplines will, outside, it's inevitable. But your focus should be on that internal purity, on that absolute path of liberation. Or you can say, the spiritual aspect, the undisputed path of liberation. But once you lose sight on that, and then you start clinging to the external, to the level you will start insisting, you will strive relentlessly to prove that liberation can be attained only by the method propounded by the sect I have adopted or I have accepted. ગુરુ તો જોઈએ જ, બિકોઝ મને એ સેટ થયું છે, ગુરુ તો જોઈએ. એટલે કોઈ પૂર્વે ગુરુ કર્યા હોય ને અત્યારનો બહુ સારી સ્થિતિ હોય, આઈ એમ નોટ ગોઈંગ ટુ અગ્રી ટુ ઇટ. No, you don't have a guru, you can never attain liberation. This is my choice. This is what I have accepted. But accept તે કર્યું છે, પણ તું ઇન્સિસ્ટ બધાને કરે છે. So the word insistence છોડો, insistence છોડો. ગુરુને છોડો એમ નથી લખ્યું, હે? ગુરુને છોડો એમ નથી લખ્યું. છોડો that insistence and choices. Choices meaning prejudices. Strong attitudes and strong opinions and insistence વાળું કે if you are not doing this, you will never attain liberation. You don't have bhakti. આખો દેવ ધ્યાન જ કર્યા કરો, you will never attain liberation. What would Param Kripadev say? No, if your Rag, Dvesh, Agnan is going, reducing, and if you are getting awakened to that pure soul and staying in that awareness of the pure soul, then you are on the right path. But he is not doing any Guru Bhakti. On Guru Purnima also he is meditating. Param Kripadev, and for that reason, all the enlightened masters have no problem. But we'll have problem because in the name of Shraddha, we will go into agraha. So insistence. You are understanding? So insistence, and then he clings to his sectarian views, and then two things happen: agraha and vikalp. So what is agraha? Insisting, holding strong opinions, strong attitudes as your path is the only right path. All your purusharth goes in just proving this. You call it satsang, but actually you are just wanting to prove that what you have adopted or accepted, that is the only way. Insistence. Not making it long. Second is what? Agraha, temaj, vikalp. Both you need to leave regarding your beliefs, opinions. What second? Vikalp. Vikalp means your choice of viewpoint. You know there are different viewpoints, but your choice of viewpoint is so important to you. You are saying that is only worth, that is the only path or only thing worth adopting. Little milder choices, a little milder than insistence. Insistence, there is a lot of kashai, attachment and aversion. Here there is little more of attachment, less of aversion. In the first there was a lot of aversion, but in this there's more attachment. But finally, by insistence and strong prejudices and choices, you are trapped in attachment and aversion in the name of dharma. And dharma does not begin without you shedding your agra and vikalp. Your agra meaning strong opinions or insistence, and vikalp meaning your prejudices or your choices. If your choices are too strong, આ જોઈએ છે અને આ નહીં હોય તો હું નહીં ખાઉં. કેવા જિદ્દી છોકરાઓ હોય ને, મમ્મી કેરીનો રસ જ ખાવો જ નથી તો આઈ ડોન્ટ વોન્ટ ટુ ઈટ એનીથિંગ. આટલી બધી સ્ટ્રોંગ ચોઇસીસ નહીં રાખ. યોર ચોઇસ મે બી રાઈટ, બટ આ જે સ્ટ્રોંગ ચોઇસીસ છે ને, યુ વિલ સ્ટાર્ટ ડાઉટિંગ અધર્સ, યુ વિલ સ્ટાર્ટ આર્ગ્યુઇંગ વિથ અધર્સ. આખું ઇન્સ્ટેડ ઓફ decreasing your transmigration, in the name of religion, you will increase your transmigration. Now I start with the verse. Chodi, giving up. Mat darshan tano. Of what? Giving up of what? Of your beliefs or your philosophy, whatever. What you should be giving up? Agraha and vikalp. Insistence, strong opinions, and choices or your prejudices. You give up that, and what do? Kayo marga sadche, the marg which was indicated in the previous verses, stated in the previous verse, you just pursue that, follow that. What will happen? What will happen? You will attain liberation. And you will not take infinite time to get liberated. That is in the last part of the verse. You will not take infinite time, because you were speaking of infinity, infinity, infinity. Since time immemorial and since countless lives and infinity, infinity શબ્દ બહુ આવતો હતો ને, એટલે અહીંયા જન્મ તેહના અલ્પનું પહેલો અર્થ હું એ કરું છું કે not infinite time. You will not take infinite time. If you do this, you give up this and you pursue this. Pursue the absolute path and give up the insistence of the relative path and choices of your relative path. Just give up this thing of the relative. Don't give up the relative path. Then you'll become a lazy bum. કઈ ને કઈ તો કરવું જ પડશે. કઈ ને કઈ તો so I'm not saying anything against relative path. I'm saying strong insistence and choice of your viewpoints regarding the relative path, that you need to give up. And pursue the absolute path as indicated in the previous verses. And what will happen? Your transmigration will end. You will not take infinite time. ઉપોદઘાતમાં આવ્યું હતું, વર્તે સદગુરુ લક્ષ. શું હતું? હા, સ્વચ્છંદ, મત, આગ્રહ. See, same thing, no? Mat, agra and all. If you leave and just follow Sadguru, લક્ષ્ય, તો શું થાય? સંકિત થાય? ઓકે, સંકિત થાય કે છે તો સમ્યક દર્શન થાય. સમ્યક દર્શન થાય એટલે પછી રોંગ ફેથ ડિસ્ટ્રોય થાય, રાઈટ ફેથ આવે. રાઈટ ફેથ આવ્યા પછી લાઇક્સ એન્ડ ડિસલાઇક્સ એટલા બધા ટકે નહીં. ગ્રેજ્યુઅલી ગેટિંગ ડિસ્ટ્રોયડ, કમ્પ્લીટલી ડિસ્ટ્રોયડ. અટેનમેન્ટ ઓફ લિબરેશન. If your efforts are right and intense, you will be liberated in that birth. And if you mean liberation is Sit Shila, going to Sit Shila, end of that birth. If your efforts are right and intense, if your efforts are right but not intense, little weak, pramad બહુ છે, laziness બહુ છે, unawareness બહુ આવી જાય, but faith is there. But unawareness, if your efforts are strong, in that very birth you will be liberated. If the efforts are little weak, you might take Janma Tehana Alp. You might take few births to attain liberation. Few births, maybe 3 or maximum 15. This birth, but if you are little weak in your Purusharth, so 3 births, or as Param Kripadev said, Vadare ma vadare, Utkrosht ma utkrost, Pandar bhav. So that is Janma Tehana Alp. Enough future births are very few to attain liberation. So beautifully explained. And this verse basically saying, the Guru recommends, the Guru so lovingly telling, don't get entangled in the external norms, rituals, practices, methods. Focus on that absolute, undisputed path of moksha. So basically you need to be a lover of truth and not a lover of your sect. Every now and then I tell them, Srimad Rajchandra Mission is helping you, but that can also drown you. If you only think, આપણે બધા કોવિડ ફ્રી થવા જોઈએ, આપણું બધાનું સારું થઈ જવું જોઈએ, આપણા મિશનના ફોલોઅર્સ, no, you have to think of humanity. Later, when you cling to that sect, you become sectarian, then the feeling of insistence and choices and everything will creep, and your transmigration will increase instead of decrease. Every third day you ask Nemiji, name, but our main goal is self-realization. I see you working for 8 hours, and that is perfect, very good. You must do, because you are doing it, I'm relatively free. But our main purpose to come here is to realize the self. Mission statement says, realize your true self. So that true self is what self? Sat Chaitanyamai Sarvabhas Rahit. Now you know what is the meaning of true. Right? So, and so, I'm not saying then so, and so, both together. I'm not saying first realize the soul, then do service. I have not used the word then. And you have to do, but then the balance should not be lost. If you are giving 6 hours for seva, then give me 6 hours for sadhana also. If you have only 6 hours, then keep 3 hours. Are you clear? So you can't be a lover of sect, then everything will go haywire. Then that clinging to that opinions and views, no. Param Kripadev is saying, with an impartial perspective, if you pursue the path indicated before, from verse 98 to 104, you will surely attain a liberation. Maybe you need to take some births, and that also very few. Janma, Tehana, Alp, very few future births to attain the ultimate state. Got it? So, one should know how to honor the differences, see unity in diversity, or respect diversity. Honor and respect diversity, and you can respect diversity if you can see unity in diversity. Otherwise, how do you respect? But if you see that Ana Dwara bhi, they are talking about Rag Dvesh Agnan, reducing Rag Dvesh Agnan only. So it's perfect. So what if it's Thakurji in front of that person? Or Christ? But if his focus is on how can I reduce my passions, he's on the right path. You got it? So beautifully explained. Diversity makes the whole spiritual path a carnival. Spirituality is ketlu difficult and ketlu dull, because you have to cut your sensual pleasures. Right? So in that sense I'm saying dull. If you are a true mumukshu, it's the most interesting path. But because our mumukshutta is also a little weak, so anything gets mechanical, monotonous, and ethai. તો એવું બનવા જોઈએ. પણ ડિફરન્ટ ભજન્સ વી સિંગ, ડિફરન્ટ mantras we do, different ways of pujan we do, different venues of satsangs we do. So this little difference makes the whole experience like an experience of a carnival or not. So why are you getting confused in that? હવે અહીંયા જવાનું, પહેલાં તો યજ્ઞસ્થળમાં જવાનું. Did you complain? કે પહેલાં તો સીજીમાં બધું આખું મિશનનું પેલું એ આપણે કાર્તિક પૂનમ તો આપણે ત્યાં કરી હતી ને, હવે પાછું જુદું એટલે રેન્જ સ્ટાર્ટ થશે એટલે પાછું જુદું. So why are you getting confused? Hey, oh disciple of mine, Gurudev is saying, oh my disciple, why are you getting confused? You have to learn to respect and honor diversity. In fact, this diversity adds to that celebrative dimension to it. Now, different way of singing Kruparudeva. Just few months back, it was so different. ગાડીમાં આવતા હતા ત્યારે કૃપાળુદેવા and now suddenly, since 5-7 days, Krupaludev different. So are you confused? Or you are enjoying that? You are enjoying this? Bas. Don't get stuck in words. Like when Buddhists propound the path, they will talk about shunya. And when a Vedanti propounds the path, it will talk about purna. Now you will say, now I have to choose between purna and shunya. Take help of Anekantavada. I'm not saying Jainism. I can't cling to it. But Anekantavada said, that Atma swabhavti purna che, vibhavti shunya che. So purna shunya is just two sides of the same coin. Devoid of this and full of this. So amti joye ke amti joye. Are you feeling you are stuck, you are confused? Or are you feeling this is common sense? What is it? So this is common sense because of his teachings, his grace. True? Let's sing.
छोड़ी मत दर्शन तणो आग्रह तेम विकल्प कह्यो मार्ग आसाध शे जन्म तेह ना अल्प